Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again, and I apologize if my computer is going to start making some beeping noises in the middle of this episode. Unfortunately, I am currently trying to get some things installed, some Bluetooth drivers and etc., and it was taking a long time. I figured I'll just record anyway while this is going on. But what I'm going to do today is try to finish off. I did not bring any powered rail. Is try to finish off this track over here that goes to my new area, my desert home. I probably actually don't have any off the top of my head. I can't remember the recipe or how many of those I'll need. Let me just lay the track and we'll come back and get powered rail and stuff in it at a later time. So unfortunately I've been having some issues with my computer. It has begun to overheat on me quite consistently. I ran into that problem. Oh, sorry, I got stuck in there. I was looking for creepers. I hate when you stand in the portal and it starts to re-send you through without actually sending you through. Should get some light in here because this thing is dark. I want to make sure I have an adequate path over first because I need to go this way. Eat some of this stuff. So I went down a long ways here. That's not going to be an adequate torch placement. But I've been having problems with my computer overheating a lot lately, and I don't know if it's legitimately overheating or if it's actually getting wrong signals or what, because it works again quite fine afterwards. It's I shut it off for like 5 minutes and everything comes back up and starts running again like nothing was wrong. So it's kind of strange. So yeah, I gotta go this way. This is definitely a dangerous place to be. We'll start at this end actually to make this thing happen right. Actually probably I'm gonna want those up higher. I did bring this cobble. I actually don't know if this cobble is going to be enough though, because I didn't realize how much I actually had to go. But so what I've done in the last couple days is I purchased a new fan. I installed the new fan. It's supposed to be better than the stock fan. I was just running the stock fan. I do have a lot of peripherals running in this computer that could be causing an overheat issue. I really don't know, because I don't typically do much temperature monitoring because I've never had a big issue with this thing until the last couple months. So I don't know if I'm actually running into typical problems or what, but since I've installed the new fan, I have yet to have an overheating issue. I also have not been doing much that would cause overheating per se. Like I was getting it a lot of times when I would actually blue screen of death, and it would do like the memory dump and everything when I was recording as well as rendering at the same time. So I mean, legitimate circumstances for an overheating to be occurring, but it would seriously tell me my CPU was running at like 200 degrees Celsius, which is kind of a ridiculous number. And then I would turn it off for like 5 minutes and bring it back, and it'd be like, oh, you're running at 110. Like, it doesn't cool off that fast. So I don't know if it's legit or not, but I've put a new CPU fan on it, and so far I seem to be having luck. We'll find out as I'm doing this episode if it's going to be as consistent as I hope it's going to be, or if it's going to be... That was... What am I doing here? Or if that was... God, I cannot do this for the life of me right now. Yeah, that should be all I need right there. I can come back and put glass or whatever in this thing later, but I just want to protect my investment here before I start laying down a rail. I made that mistake before and had the God, I can't get these clicks right today. I don't know if I'm having slight lag or if I'm just off my game. I would guess I'm just off my game. make sure I'm using this right pick. Yeah, Unbreaking 1, because this is a Silk Touch pick. I don't want to be wasting my Silk Touch pick while I'm doing things like this. But on top of that, in the background, I'm also trying to get some Bluetooth drivers updated to my system. I bought a Bluetooth headset. Not that I plan on using it for regular recording or anything. However, I have some plans for it in the future based on some programs I've acquired. I don't mean acquired as in illegally downloaded or anything. I mean acquired as in learned about. They're free and have started to use them. That lets you record dual channel microphones, and I might have some things coming up in the future where it's going to involve more than just me commenting on a video from within my house, not through Skype or something like that, which would be a very easy solution if it was, through Skype. But with that, I'm trying to get that working, and I'm trying to update my Bluetooth drivers because the audio quality is just horrible with this Bluetooth headset, and it really shouldn't be that way, but trying to get it figured out. Whoa. I almost walked right down that hole. There's that. There's that. Almost sealed up here. But instead of talking about my computer issues for the day, I figured this weekend I had planned on going home. I ended up staying the entire weekend, not ever coming back to my house. And the sad thing is I didn't even bring a change of clothes, so I was wearing the same clothes all weekend long. I did have access to a shower though, which was nice. I was just at my girlfriend's place and hanging out with her and her roommates and stuff for the weekend. And the reason I never made it back home was because we were having too much fun. We just kept getting into other things, and by the time I would want to get myself back home, it was, too late, or I was a little too tipsy or whatnot. So, God. So I just ended up staying there. But we started having some very random conversations. One of them, it really brought me back to my I don't want to say childhood, my high schoolhood, I guess you would call it, because it was happening while I was in high school, so I guess that is what you would call it. But it had to do with getting caught. And what I mean by getting caught is being caught in certain types of situations that you don't necessarily want to be caught by people in. And I have a couple funny stories related to this I figured I would share with people while I'm doing this extravaganza of building some rail. And basically, let's say the first story is kind of funny because it actually doesn't really involve getting caught, but it'll bring it to the general topic at hand. Is I used to work at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's for many, many years of my life, through high school, through college, after college when I couldn't find a job. I worked there for a total of 9 years. I actually loved McDonald's. I thought it was a great time. This is extremely dark, and I'm not sure why. The nether's not usually this dark, forcing me to put torches. I think I've updated a snapshot since the last video. I changed my jar file a few times because I was helping the guys out on the Mindcrack server do some testing of something that was not on the typical snapshot that we're using. And I updated back to the one that was supposed to be for the server, but I'm not sure. The new snapshots are nice because they allow you to, sometimes you can run a few snapshots without having to update, and it'll still allow you into a server. So I don't know if it's because I got a new, I want this on this wall just to keep it consistent. I don't know if it's because I got a different snapshot than I was using before, or I don't have any more torches. Or if it's because my computer settings were just different. I don't know, but this thing is dark as hell, and it's kind of crazy to me. So this video probably sucks, especially with me without torches. Maybe I'll go back to the lit up area. Look at this. There's some lava right up there. That's going to need to be taken care of at some point because it's dangerous. But let me go back towards the light so it's not actually a terrible issue, and I'll make my way back to base while doing this, and then we'll be able to have more consistent lighting through here. But the first story is I was working at McDonald's one night. It was, God, I was probably 17 at the time. I think I was young. I This girl was having issues with her boyfriend and really wanted somebody to talk to. And so after work, we worked the night shift. We closed at this point at 12 on the weekdays and 1 on the weekends. So we didn't get out of work until essentially 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. This when I was 17 is what actually allowed me to be able to stay out very late and kind of not really have a curfew anymore, because half the time I was working for my job. And when I wasn't working for my job, I just told my parents a lot that I was working that night so that I could stay out as late as I wanted. But that's neither here nor there. We went out after work to a high school that we would often go to and play basketball after we got off of work. We'd get groups of people to go out there and play basketball at like 3 o'clock in the morning, because this high school was kind of in the back of a subdivision, and it was like away from the main houses and things like that, so that you didn't make noise. Oh, God damn it. You didn't really make a lot of noise that was bothering people, and they had lights on their basketball court all evening long. I can't believe all of that I did, and I did not even attempt to fix this janky ass path. Oh my God. I'm gonna need more cobble. Especially with this gas that we know is firing at me. Yeah! Glowstone! Where's my bow? Yeah! And he did. He destroyed some of the path. I should have done this first. But, anyways, we're out there. We're at this high school. Cops usually didn't bother us out there. We got to know them, most of the cops, very well working at McDonald's, because they actually got free food. So they would come through at night, and we made it kind of a goal. Like when a cop came through to get free food, we talked to them. We got to know them so that if it could potentially help us in the future, it would help us in the future. And it actually did help us a few times in the future when it was the right officers that we knew that would pull us over for like speeding or something like that. We got away with quite a bit because of this. My dad's a police officer, and I mean, I understand how that system works. It's really all about who you know. It's not that cops are evil to people Jesus. Not that they're evil to people they don't know or anything, but if you know them, it makes life a lot easier. You can get away with a lot more. There's no question about that. So, word of advice: get to have some cop friends in your town. But an officer happened to come through the parking lot and saw us there, and it wasn't one of the typical officers that we dealt with, so we actually didn't know this guy that well. Oh no. Oh good, I got 6 more, and I got another stack. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. That would have been dangerous. Get these on. I gotta make this safer. Yeah, look how dangerous this thing is. One layer on of netherrack going across this big lava mine. Never a good thing. Actually, I want to make it too thick if I could, but for now, that'll be good, actually. No, it won't, because I want some safety. And while I have some cobble. So anyways, this officer comes out, and he comes up to the car, and he goes, "Hey guys, what are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, nothing, we're just talking, officer." And we really were just talking. And it's kind of funny because I can't say that about every aspect of these stories that I can tell. But it was like you realize after dusk, this is technically, it's got a playground and stuff on it, and a lot of people go out there with their kids and all, but it closes after dusk. You can't be there anymore. It's a school. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't realize that. We were just needed somewhere to go talk. It's late and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I see. If you guys want to go, and he did the little quote thing with his hands. He goes, if you guys want to go talk, might I suggest you go to Deer Park? And I was like, I can't believe that guy just said that. He literally gave us a suggestion on where we should go if we were going to go do inappropriate things in the car. I thought that was pretty awesome that he said that. Unfortunately, this was not a girl that I was, doing anything with, so we didn't get to take advantage of that. I'm not going to say that I haven't taken advantage of Deer Park before in my life, but that's a different story altogether. But I thought that was hilarious. This guy, just the ability for him to be like, if you guys want somewhere to go talk, you should go to Deer Park. I thought it was great. So that's a story where I truly, ooh, I'm about to die. You guys are probably looking at your screen thinking I'm insane for letting my food bar go that low, and I kind of am. There we go. But another story that I have, and this one's a little worse. I was dating a girl. It was around the same time frame, and it was actually my girlfriend that we went out somewhere. She was driving. She was driving a white Pontiac Sunfire. Not exactly the most discreet thing in the middle of the night. I got gravel in here. I don't want gravel. I just want lots of cobble and torches. That's the other thing I needed. And we both lived at our parents' house at the time, so we didn't really have anywhere to go because we were living with our parents, and we went to a parking lot. She was concerned with the parking lot situation because it was going to be very easy. This was not as discreet of a parking lot. It was more right off the road. You can see any cars that are in it. Cars in the parking lot of another school might cause some suspicion. So she decided she was going to drive her car into the middle of the baseball field, which was an interesting concept. Actually worked out. You would think it's okay on the surface because actually getting out on the baseball field makes it so you can't see your vehicle from the road. Somebody would actually have to physically come into the parking lot to see your vehicle. So in that sense, it worked out okay because it wasn't as obvious as it could have been. However, we're sitting there. Things happen. Things get done. You know what I'm talking about. I don't really need to explain the entire situation to you, but things get done, and we look over. Luckily afterwards, and we looked over, and I see some headlights pulling into the parking lot. I'm just like, okay, yeah, there's no way. And the second these headlights came into the parking lot, all of a sudden you could see it started to turn around in the parking lot, and it must have noticed us right at that second as it started to turn around, because instead of, whoa, that was bad. Instead of turning around, it kind of made a quick veer toward where we were at and just started driving like mad straight onto the baseball field, straight over to the car. Pulls up directly just with his lights, probably 2 feet away from the driver's side. It's an officer at this point, we can tell. Lights directly into the driver's side window. Luckily, I said everything was finished. We were just kind of there at the time, at this point. And he gets out of his car, walks up. She's driving, mind you. He walks up to the side of the car. This is also an officer I happen to know because he was one of the local cops in my neighborhood, and I've seen him many times. I don't know if he knows who I am or not, but I know who he is. So I'm like, oh no, it's Officer Whitney. Okay, what are we gonna do? And he goes up to her side of the window, and he kind of looks at her, and he goes, what are you guys doing here? And she goes, of course. She goes, we're just talking. And he goes, just talking, huh? With your car parked in the middle of a baseball field at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's like, yes, yeah, that's what we're doing. And he goes, let me ask you this. He goes, are you here on your own free will, miss? And she's driving, so it's kind of a funny question, but I'm sure it's a question that they have to ask. I kind of have a respect to the fact that they asked that question. She goes, "Yes, officer, I'm driving the car. I'm here on my own free will." He goes, "Okay, what's your name?" So she tells him her name, and he's like, it's not appropriate for you guys to be out here right now. And I'm like, okay, this seems like it's gonna go okay. He's just gonna kind of say, "Go on your way, leave, leave. You shouldn't be here." And he goes, "So what's your name?" And I looked at him and I was like, Jeff. He goes, "What's your last name?" And I was like, "Oh dear God, please don't ask me what my last name is," because I'm so concerned. Because of course, exactly what I was afraid was going to happen happened. So I tell him, and I tell him what my last name is. I shit you not, he got the biggest shit-eating grin on his face, and he just looked at me, and he goes, "Tell your dad I said hi." Got back in his car and left, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." Because like I said, my dad's a cop. He wasn't a local cop in my town. However, he knew all the cops in my town. Like, he was very good. He was a very social person. He gets to know the people he needs to know. And officers in our town are some of those people that, he needs to know. So now I have the explaining to do because I know he's going to see my dad at some point, and he's going to make a comment about how he saw me the other day. So if I don't tell him, it's going to be like I'm lying, and I don't want to get in trouble for lying. So the next day I see my dad, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, Officer Whitney says hi." And he goes, "Really? Why did you see Officer Whitney?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." And I just walked away. I didn't know what else to say. I just walked away. Went to my room. Hoped that he would never ask about it again. And he never did. Thank God. Not that I would have. Oh, I'm out of railroad check. Not that I would have necessarily gotten in trouble by my dad, quote unquote. I mean, I might have. I've been in trouble for some things before that I really shouldn't have, just because my dad being a cop, he's got a lot of more of a strict type of upbringing that they had on my sister and I when we got in trouble doing something wrong. And granted, yes, that was wrong to do. I don't think it was a big deal, but yes, it was wrong to do. And, he could have definitely gotten a little upset at us for that, upset at me for that. So I thought it was hilarious. I've never been so, like, embarrassed in my life, because that's just, like, how do you explain that to somebody? Like, this guy, of course, he has to know who my dad is, and that's just going to make this whole thing 10 times worse. But at the same time, to tell it many years later, 10 times funnier. Actually, even telling it like 2 weeks later was hilarious. But looking back on it now is just, I mean, it's even better. It's just, it doesn't get any better than that, really, does it? So, anyways, guys, that's what I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys about for a little bit. There we go. Stop that lava. Did I go over too far? I did, didn't I? Oh well, that spot's going to be a little bit wider just because of the lava. So, I thought that was funny. Hope you guys enjoyed the stories. Hopefully I will be able to get this whole Bluetooth thing figured out that I'm talking about and be able to do some dually commentary going on, because I think that would be fun. I don't know how well it's going to work out. We're going to try. It's a learning process, so we will find out. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.